Brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah barakatuh. I'm sincerely sorry that I cannot be with you today. I think you all understand my situation. I'm sorry not to be there, both because it's an important event and some of my best friends in the world are there and I can't be with you, but also because this is an extraordinary time in British political history, in international politics, global affairs, in Western political affairs. This is an extraordinary time. This is a turning point in history. This is the mother of all scandals. There hasn't been a scandal like this one since the end of the Roman Empire. This is the last days of Pompeii. It's the last days of Versailles, when the rulers cavorted with their degenerate sin and crime, and when the anger of the masses was mustering to a critical mass which swept them all away. I believe this is one of those moments. It's the mother of all scandals, and the British political class is right at the heart of it. And that's why I would dearly love to have been with you and on the streets in the British political affairs. I'd love to have been closer to home. And maybe that's the reason why I couldn't be allowed to be closer to home, because we are now in a situation where the British royal family is in, I believe, terminal crisis. Most people in Britain respected the late Queen Elizabeth, but nobody, by the time King Charles assumed the throne, much respected him. And today they respect him very much less than even they did before. The scandal of the royals, the presence at all of these dirty dealings of Prince Andrew, but they weren't just taking place in New York. They weren't just taking place on Epstein's Island. They were taking place in royal palaces in England and in Scotland. Jeffrey Epstein turns out to have had the run of Buckingham Palace, and even taking Harvey Weinstein with him, if you get my drift. He had the run of the lodges of Windsor Castle. He had the run of the lodges and the hunting in Balmoral Castle in Scotland. He was able to use the Queen's airfield to bring his Epstein Lolita Express back and forward to England. But he didn't just have the run of the royal estate. He had the run of number 10 Downing Street. He had the run of number 10 Downing Street when Tony Blair met him in number 10 Downing Street at the suggestion of the now disgraced Lord Mandelson, about whom more in a minute. Epstein was in touch with the leading figures of the Labour government then and the Labour government now. Epstein was a feature, a factor in the development of New Labour, Blair Labour practice. He was an advisor on these matters. The penetration, if you'll forgive the pun, of this extraordinary degenerate, Jeffrey Epstein, in the British political class reached its apogee when Keir Starmer appointed Peter Mandelson as His Majesty's ambassador to Washington. Now, Keir Starmer last night claimed that if he'd known then what he knows now, he would never have made that appointment. But if he didn't know then what he claims now only to know, he's too stupid to be the Prime Minister. If he did, as I believe he did, know then what he knows now, he's too wicked to be the British Prime Minister. And I don't believe that he can conceivably be the British Prime Minister for very much longer. I've been predicting that the by-election in Gorton and Denton and the local elections which will quickly follow in May, and for which the Workers' Party is heavily mobilizing and fundraising, would be the end of Keir Starmer, but I don't believe he's going to reach those landmarks. In fact, he could be gone by the time you actually hear this message, and I'm not exaggerating. There's a gathering storm above his head, which may produce the deluge which sweeps him away. Of course, he will not be succeeded by anybody better or anybody more successful, but the fact that the Labour Party has to make a political change, and now, is surely self-evident, even to the sheep on the backbenches of the Parliamentary Labour Party. Because, of course, he'd only have had to follow my Twitter feed. He'd only have had to look at the clips of the mother of all talk shows to know, before he appointed Mandelson to rejoin Epstein in America at the court of Donald Trump, he would only have had to look at social media to know it. So to claim that with the benefit of the advice of the security services, he did not know it is patently absurd. If I knew it, if I was talking about it, tweeting about it, broadcasting about it, he had to have known. So the question is begged, why exactly did Keir Starmer make that appointment? Did Epstein have something on Starmer? Did Mandelson have something on Starmer? Why did they move heaven and earth to overthrow normal diplomatic conventions to appoint this Prince of Darkness, known as the Prince of Darkness since the 1980s? They're all claiming now to be shocked that he acted like the Prince of Darkness when they themselves called him that back in the 1980s. The Labour Party is dead. And this is an important point I need to make. Seems not every comrade is fully seized of this point. Our number one objective is to end the self-harming relationship between the British working class and the so-called British Labour Party, so-called British and so-called Labour Party. This is an important point. I know that people fear, loathe, hate other parties too, but our Workers' Party number one objective is to break the relationship between the British working class and the so-called Labour Party, to break the link with the unions, to break the electoral link with working class voters. And so our political perspective is anybody but Labour. Of course, we hope that they will choose us, or they will choose people like us in other parties, or as independents. Of course, we hope that. But our number one objective is to destroy the Labour Party, because the Labour Party, unlike the other parties, is pretending to be something which it manifestly, clearly to us, but not to all the voters, it is not. It is a wolf in sheep's clothing. And so it's our number one objective. And we'll make decisions about electoral tactics, about standing here or there on that basis. Our job is to ensure Labour loses and to work so that in the future we win, as we are going to win in local elections up and down this country, in Birmingham, in Rochdale, in Bury, in Oldham, in central Manchester, and hopefully other places too. We are going to win seats in the local elections. And so if you haven't yet put yourself forward as a candidate, if you haven't yet put your hand in your pocket, if you haven't yet asked other people to put their hand in their pocket, if you haven't yet asked other people to vote for our candidates in those places, you better start stepping up to the plate, because May will be upon us very, very soon. In fact, it's April, because the campaign officially begins in April. And it's now coming up to the middle of February. So time is short. And we will never get a better opportunity. The Labour Party has never been more discredited. And getting rid of Starmer isn't going to solve their problems. Replace him with whom? Wesley Streeting, the schoolboy protege of Peter Mandelson? Or Angela Rayner, the ginger growler, who had to resign from the cabinet because of her own ethical lapses? Who are they going to replace Starmer with that's going to be any better, any more wholesome, any more successful? Nobody. The Labour Party is fatally wounded. We have to administer the coup de grace. We have to put them out of their misery, and more importantly, put the misery that they have caused the working people of Britain, and not just under Starmer, but under administration after administration, put everyone out of their misery by destroying the cause of that misery, which is the century-old pretense that the British Labour Party was intent on or was capable of delivering what we desire for working class people and their families. So this is the business end of the season. To pick a footballing metaphor, this is when we close in for the League Cup final, the FA Cup final, for the finale of the Premiership. This is headed for the end game, and we have an opportunity to be in at the death of a Labour Party that has caused so much death and destruction. Who murdered 1 million people in Iraq? It was Labour. Who murdered uncounted numbers in Afghanistan? It was Labour. Who betrayed the trade unions? I was reading about Neil Kinnock just yesterday. Neil Kinnock, a man from the Welsh mining valleys of South Wales, a man whose father was a miner. And remembering, I was there, I was a part of the miners' union, honorary member of the NUM in South Wales area, Mardy Lodge, from 1982. I fought every day of the miners' strike, and who betrayed us? Neil Kinnock, Labour, betrayed us. So whether it's war or betrayal of working class interests, working class organisation, it's Labour that has to be destroyed. It's Labour that has been the betrayer of all things good. So it's the business end of the season. You need to get busy. You need to understand our underlying or overarching perspective that our job is to replace the Labour Party in the affections of working class people in Britain. And we can't do that by wondering if our going into a race or not going into a race is going to allow somebody else in by the back door. That's the wrong attitude. The right attitude is everything we do, to coin a Peter Mandelson phrase, every day we wake up, we remember that our underlying objective is to undermine the Labour Party and to replace it as the Workers' Party. So I can't be with you. I wish I could. I could answer your questions, which you may have arising out of this speech, which I'm making, which has already gone on for too long. I appreciate it. I'm not able to turn to the international situation, which of course remains perilous and on the edge, but you can always watch the mother of all talk shows, and in particular my monologues, which I hope you regard as your marching orders. Every Wednesday, every Sunday, when I'm giving that 20-minute monologue, it's not just aimed at the general public, it's aimed at you. It's the party line until the party decides it no longer wants me to set the line. Hear that line, spread that line, believe in that line. And if you do, I believe I will lead you to success, whether it's from Shanghai or whether it's from Birmingham. Either way, as long as you want me, I'm with you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.